Hey guys, Nick here, and I have some Call of Duty Ghost gameplay, playing some domination on Strike Zone, and I'm using the MTAR with a specialist setup. And now this is a pretty interesting gameplay. I get close to 80 kills, and obviously those are almost all gun kills because I'm using the specialist setup. Don't have any kill streaks, so there's quite a few kills in this game. I also get a KEM strike. Big spoiler there. Probably put that in the title or something. Doesn't matter. But yeah, I get a KEM strike, get lots of kills, and it's a pretty decent gameplay. I thought it was really action-packed and pretty fun to watch, so hopefully you will enjoy that. But what I wanted to talk about today was PC gaming, and specifically why I think PC gaming is a much better alternative to console gaming like PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, whatever. Why I think PC gaming is better. So before I start a video like this, I usually like to give some context. So I have owned many consoles before. I've had an Xbox, I've had an Xbox 360, I had a Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, GameCube, Wii. I had a lot of different consoles, so I do know what the console experience is like. But I also have been playing on PC for about 1 to 2 years, not entirely sure on the length there. And it is a much better experience, at least in my opinion. Maybe you'll like it better, but I think overall you can get a significantly better gaming experience on PC than you can on console. And three main reasons for me are you have better controls, better graphics, and more options in terms of what you can do, specifically with, like, let's say, field of view and stuff like that. Being able to change things like that you can't usually change on console, it makes the experience much better. Now, in first-person shooters, the mouse is a much better option for controlling, for aiming. It's much smoother, you have much more control. I really like things like how you can jump and still aim at the same time. That's a really cool thing to do. There's just a lot more options in terms of like how finely you can control things, and there's a much wider range of skill levels, I feel, with the mouse and keyboard. And you know, a lot of people say like, oh, I really don't like mouse and keyboard. I don't care if it's a better control system. I'm a casual gamer, not really like competitive. Don't care if I'm getting the best option. I want to use a controller. Well, you can. See, that's the cool thing about PC. You're not limited to only using a controller and only to using a specific controller. If you really like the Xbox 360 controller and you want to use it, go ahead. It's a USB interface. You can plug it in with your computer. A lot of games have support. Games that don't have support, you can usually download a program and it will like configure things for you so that you can at least use the controller. Some people want to use a joystick, go ahead, use a joystick. You can use whatever you want, and there's more options in that sense in terms of how you can control. But if you want the best experience and you want to use a mouse and a keyboard in a first-person shooter, then you can. You get a better experience in terms of how finely you can control your character's movements and stuff like that. If you're playing a racing game, you want to use a steering wheel, there's tons of USB steering wheels. Like, there's really good options here. That's one of the things I like about PC. Obviously, you can get better graphics if you have a good computer, and you can get a higher frame rate. You can really just have a better overall experience. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but I tried playing a PC game on my laptop and it didn't work. Well, maybe it's because you have some 5-year-old cheap HP laptop that was like $300 new and has like 1 gig of RAM, and it just wasn't designed for gaming. If you have a decent computer, preferably a desktop, because gaming laptops really, in my opinion, aren't that great. Most of them that aren't extremely expensive don't really get very good performance, and a lot of them have heat issues. So like, if you're playing on just a regular laptop that was pretty cheap and is pretty old, then yeah, it's probably not going to run very well. Now, there's a few things that console players usually say when I mention PC gaming and, like, you know, possibly making the switch. And one of them is that they like to say that they prefer to play games on their couch watching on their television, or playing on their television sitting on their couch. Well, you can do that with PC gaming as well. People don't seem to understand this, but most televisions have an HDMI input. Most computers have an HDMI output. Therefore, you can connect your computer to your television and it will work like it was a monitor, only it's bigger. If that's what you prefer, then go ahead and do that. If you want to use a controller, well, you can use a wireless controller with PC games. There's an adapter that Microsoft sells. It's like $20, not very difficult to use. So that's definitely an option. It's definitely possible. Another thing that people say that really tends to bother me is that, oh, you don't have to constantly upgrade your console. You don't have to constantly buy upgrades every year. Well, yeah, new parts come out for PCs pretty much every year, and they get better, but you don't have to buy them. If you get a decent computer, then you don't have to be constantly buying new parts. It's like a console, right? Like, if you spend enough money on it, get some decent hardware, then it's good for several years. The thing is, with a PC, you have the option of upgrading. If you're like, hey, I have $200 to spend, I feel like getting a better experience, then hey, go buy a new video card, and all of a sudden you get better graphics. With a console, you can't do that. Even if you have $200 to spend, what are you going to do? If there's no new console out, you're stuck. Even if you have $1,000 to spend, no option, there's no new console. But yeah, you have the choice on PC. You don't have to upgrade, but you can upgrade. It's an advantage, not a disadvantage, like people seem to think. Boom, Chem Strike. That was a pretty decent chem, I thought. But yeah, continuing on. A lot of people say it's too complex. Yeah, there's not that many vendors for proper gaming PCs. Building your own computer, it's not too difficult, but you can't just go ahead and, like, you know, stick it together. It's not like Legos. It's kind of like Legos, but not quite. You have to have some knowledge. You can easily, like, learn if you follow some guides on the internet, but if you rush, you could break things or whatever. So yeah, it maybe is too complex for some people, and even once you get the computer, some people really have a problem, like, configuring controls and video settings. I feel that PC game developers could, you know, make things easier by having more automatic settings, so you don't have to change as many things, having, like, more standard controls maybe. I don't know, but yeah, it is more complex than console gaming. It's not just like, here's your controller, you throw in the disc and then you start playing. So yeah, it is a little bit more difficult, but you really should be able to figure it out, because it's not that hard. If you have some decent level of intelligence, it shouldn't be too difficult for you to figure out games. And then the next thing that console players usually mention is the cost of PC gaming. Most people seem to have this this notion in their head that PC gaming costs like $2,000. You have to have at least a $2,000 computer before you can, like, play games at all, and then you have to spend $500 a year to upgrade it. Like, this is not true at all. So, like, right now, if you wanted to get a better than Xbox One, better than PS4 experience, you could do this with, like, an $800 computer. You could go cheaper. You could probably, like, with $500 to $600, you could probably get a better experience than the modern consoles. But if you wanted to get, like, a pretty good gaming experience, you want to be able to run games at 1080p, 60 FPS, you want to have, you know, slightly better graphics than, like, let's say a PS4, then you can do that, but it's going to cost you probably like $700 to $800, depending on how much you spend on, like, certain parts, like power supply, case, whatever. But you can do that for a few $100s. So yeah, it does cost a little bit more initially, but generally games are cheaper because you can get, like, really good Steam sales, and you don't have to pay for Live. Live is now like $50 on PS4 and Xbox 360. It's $60 a year. So if you're gonna have that console for 5 or 6 years, then that's like $300 right there. So you've already made up the difference. You just have to spend a little more initially. And I know this really isn't an option to some people. Some people already can't afford the new consoles that have come out. They're too much money. They still have like $150 Xbox, and that's fine. So if you really can't afford it, then, like, I guess you can't. But if you already have a computer and you just need to buy a graphics card, then hey, it's a great idea. And what I'm trying to get at here is it's not like the best option for everybody, but it is a better overall experience. So what I'm trying to get at here is that PC gaming isn't for everybody, but overall it's a better experience. So if you have the money up front to spend a little bit extra to maybe save in the long run, or you don't care, you want to pay a little bit more for a better experience, then yeah, it's a great option. But you know, if you only have like $200 to spend, and you know the Xbox 360 is all you want, then hey, get an old console. You'll have fun, I guess. But overall, you get better graphics, better controls, and a lot more options with PC gaming. And it's definitely something that you should try out if you know you have the time, the money, or whatever. Then it's something I highly recommend. It's something that I quite enjoy, and it's a lot of fun for me because I really do like the controls on it. Like, playing on Xbox again, I really noticed how little control I have, and you know, I'm talking like in terms of mouse keyboard versus controller. You're just so much slower, and my aim was so much worse. And like even with aim assist, it's just not the same. So yeah, I definitely enjoy playing on PC more. I enjoy the better graphics. I enjoy the higher frame rates, and yeah, it's just a better experience. I don't know how else to emphasize that. If you guys have any questions regarding PC gaming, if you're trying to get into that, then yeah, leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer that. If you're like, oh, I have $532, what's the best computer that I can get and how do I build it? Probably can't answer that for you. If you're really interested, go Google. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching the video. Please like it if you enjoyed. Leave a comment if you have your own opinion. Let me know something. I'll probably answer any questions you guys have for the first few days this video's up. Maybe a bit later on. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe for some more. And I'll see you later.